For previous talks, you can, of course, go to economist.com.na and see what Mr. Daniel Steinman and myself get up to on a weekly basis. We are talking SME recovery loans, and we are talking about the 500 million Namibian dollars that is being allocated to the commercial banks for loans for the SMEs by the Bank of Namibia. Like Mr. Daniel Steinman said before, it sounds a lot. But when you look at the SMEs in Namibia that are really struggling, we're not sure if every SME will get a piece.
It looks
of
like
pie.
a big cake, but it's not such
Yeah,
a big cake.
it isn't.
It's more of a pie than a cake.
But then also, Mr. Daniel Sharon, of course, when we look at the process that will probably have to go into place for an SME to be approved of a loan, do you perhaps know how this will go down, or how
Yes,
the process will be working?
Let me give you some pointers. First of all, you have to be a bank client.
Yeah.
This is what I meant when I referred to you have to function in the formal economy regardless of how small you are. Secondly, you have to have a trading history. So let's say a sensible ceiling is a turnover maximum of about 2 million. And this 2 million turnover in a year is no longer such a small SME. It becomes, in our context, a sort of smallish to medium company. Because with a 2 million turnover, usually you find there are 5, 6, 7 employees. And if it is a security company, there will be 15 employees, but the 15 together earning the same as 5 other people in other services companies. And I'm not joking about this. It's the reality. But the point I'm making is that you have to have a relationship with your bank. Then you go to your bank and you say that you tell the person who usually works with your account, I want to apply for a loan under the SME recovery loan scheme. And then they will send you a big stack of papers. And I get the impression that they are making this intentionally difficult, so that the application process acts like the first screening or assessment of the candidate, so that the people that are very serious about obtaining financing, they will continue with the process. They will carry on, and those that are just sort of trying their luck, they will give up along the way and say, "Nah, it's too much trouble," or they don't really comply. Again, if you look at the definition of SMEs in the Namibian context, it is difficult to quantify the spectrum over which you will allocate these loans. A lot of the hard work is up to the client. The bank is just a facilitator. They're not holding your hand. They don't send out a broker to come and help you complete the application form. You have to do it all yourself. And there's a whole big 2-page list of documents that's required, amongst others annual financial statements. Now the typical SME in Namibia, very few of them have an auditor, because they're not PDY limited, Very few of them even have a bookkeeper, because only a minority are closed corporations, CCs. So they do their own books, and their books is usually, or their bookkeeping is their bank statement. They can't afford an accountant.
Of course.
They can, unless it's a company with a turnover of at least $1 million a year, you will find that they don't really do proper accounting. They see if there's money available in the bank account, they move. If there's no money available, they duck and dive. And this is the reality of by far the biggest part of the local SME sector. And so if you say there's this huge amount or ostensibly huge amount available, you you are confronted by the practical problem is, how am I going to allocate these loans?
Yeah.
And this is where the commercial banks and the relationship between them and their customer becomes very important, because they make it your baby to determine how much do you want to borrow. So they don't say there's 100,000 or 200,000 loan or 500,000. They just cap the thing. I think the maximum is 2 million or something. I'm under correction here, but it's a fairly big amount for slightly bigger companies.
Yeah.
But it's up to the business owner to defend that application. He must convince the bank, the commercial bank, why he's applying for 500,000 loan or why he's applying for a $1 million loan. And that means that the bank is not doing any assessment on how well you have done all the projections, the business plan. The bank just look at what you put in front of them. If you go with a big company that put in an application, let's go really big, and we say a company like Altava and List.
Okay.
They want to take over another fairly big company, and we're talking of a deal of maybe 900 million to 1 billion Namibia dollar. The moment that company makes an application at the bank, there's a whole army of bank people helping them, you know, doing the projections, doing all the calculations, checking the business plan, doing due diligence on that sort of thing. Not so for the poor SME owner. You know, he has to struggle through that application process himself, he or she. And that's the important thing. The advice, the thing that I want all SME owners to take with them today is, yes, go to your bank. Go and do that application. Go through all the pain of establishing how much it is that you need. But you will have to realize that the onus is on you. You will have to design the business plan, make the financial projections, get all the documentation in order. The bank's not going to do it on your behalf.
And hopefully our SMEs will get out of this dark hole with these loans. But once again, thank you.